Hey Wayfinders, Sven here again, and today we're diving into an important question we get every day here at Seven Corners. Does travel insurance provide coverage for pre-existing conditions? We're unpacking this question to help prepare you with important information and follow-up questions to ask an agent when buying a travel insurance plan. Let's go.
Did you know, as of 2019, about 27% of U.S. adults under 65 have a pre-existing medical condition? That's tens of millions of travelers. If you're in that group, here's exactly what to ask before you buy a travel insurance plan so your coverage fits your life and health. Let's begin with one of the most frequent questions we get from travelers. Does travel insurance cover people with pre-existing conditions? The short and simple answer? Yes, travel insurance can cover pre-existing conditions. Now let's get into the full answer by knowing what questions to ask. Think of this as your 5-question checklist. Let's dive into it. Let's first start with defining what a look-back period is and what counts. Most plans will define a look-back period in the plan document wording. In simple terms, a look-back period is a window of time before your coverage starts when the insurer looks back at your health history. When speaking to a travel insurance agent, you should ask 2 things. First, how long is that window? A look-back period window of time will likely vary by plan type. And second, what actually counts as pre-existing in that window? Is it a diagnosis, a treatment, a doctor's recommendation, or just symptoms that would make a reasonable person seek care? Number 2, what if I have a pre-existing condition that is controlled by medication? Given the differences in wording of a pre-existing condition as defined in a plan document, it's best to ask an agent how your plan handles conditions that are controlled by prescription medication, and if that changes how pre-existing conditions are covered. Number 3, is there a window of time to get a pre-existing condition waiver? Some trip protection plans offer a waiver that can remove the pre-existing condition exclusion if you buy within the time-sensitive period and meet a few conditions, like being medically able to travel and keeping your insured trip cost current as you add bookings. Important, the pre-existing waiver does not apply if you buy a plan with a $0 trip cost. Why? The waiver is tied to the time-sensitive period, which is tied to trip deposit dates, and with no trip cost to insure, the time-sensitive period cannot apply. Number 4, do you cover an acute onset of a pre-existing condition? Many travel medical plans, Seven Corners Travel Medical Choice, for example, distinguish ongoing conditions from a sudden flare-up, an acute onset. Coverage often requires seeking prompt emergency care after symptoms begin. Ask whether acute onset is covered and how quickly you must be treated. The exact timing varies by plan. And number 5, how do emergency evacuation and repatriation work if my situation is tied to a pre-existing condition? Plans differ, so make sure you're clear about how it's covered in the plan you choose. If you become seriously sick or hurt, it's important to know you will be transported to a facility that can provide appropriate care for you and/or return you home. Let's pull some key themes to summarize for a before you buy a travel insurance plan checklist. Be sure to have these questions ready when speaking to an agent. What's the look-back period and what events count? How do plans handle pre-existing conditions controlled by medication? Note that they might differ depending on the type of plan. Timing considerations. What's required and by when for any waiver? Acute onset. Is it covered, and what's the emergency treatment window? Does evacuation, repatriation apply even if a pre-existing condition is involved? If you're a traveler with a medical history, choose the best plan for your condition. Talk to a licensed agent to make sure you're making the smart choice. For more details and examples, read the full blog at sevencorners.com and check your plan document. Be prepared when trip happens.
All right, that's a wrap. Save this video and have your checklist of questions ready to go when speaking to an agent about pre-existing conditions and buying a travel insurance plan. Know someone who could benefit from this information? Be sure to share it with them as well. We'll see you again next time, and until then, trip happens, so stay safe out there.